da ærgerligt. Tag den så. Ja, tak! Det der, det var sejt, mand! Den her, den er også god. Der er virkelig fisk i det område lige her. Det er en lang fisk, den her faktisk. Ja, 90 vil jeg tro. Det her, det er det sejeste i... Ja! Hold kæft, det her, det er sejt, Nikolaj. Hi there. Today I'm gonna make a pike fly, and this is a pike fly for the Brakish water, and this is the best pike fly I fished with this past weekend in Stay. I tried a lot of different flies and a lot of different stuff, and this fly was simply just well, better than anything else. What I also found was that the wriggle tails were just absolutely awesome for these Brakish water pikes. So the trend continues, and the wriggle tails very easily attached to this. If you see one of my other videos, you will see how exactly to do that. Really was doing wrecking and making a lot of noise up there. So simply attach my tube here, and then I start. But what I realized, and one of the really eye-opening experiences I experienced here in Stay this past weekend was I only had brought one black and one tan wriggle tail, and I fished with the tan one, and that was working fairly well. Then all of a sudden, first up is we're gonna take some gray, baitfish gray bucktail, and tie this down. It's pretty much business as usual, so I'll just continue the story. So I was fishing Stay and had oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. Of course, we need one of the power wriggles first, because they simply seem to make a hell of a lot of difference as well. These are very cool and make a lot of noise in the water and add some weight to the fly as well and stuff like that. So we're gonna add some of this. This is gonna be a fairly easy fly with not many components. We're gonna need some flesh, some bucktail, one of these rattles, and of course, if you want to use the wriggle tails or not, it's optional. So you can do that if you like, or if not, then simply leave them out, because the wriggle tails are attached to the hook set. So you decide yourself what your hook set should look like that. Just gonna take some of the old faithful varnish here, crazy glue, just to ensure that this stays there. So like that. What I was saying was, I was fishing with this black wriggle tail, and the pikes were just hammering away, and it was great fun, and I was really enjoying myself. And then I had a pike that actually bit off the wriggle tail. This is not something that happens very often. Normally these wriggle tails are very strong, and they last for many fish, but of course you can have there is the odd chance that something like that happened. So I lost my black wriggle tail. So I took a big golden one and attached that, and nothing happened for the next 15 minutes. So I was thinking, perhaps this wasn't the right way to go. So I simply changed the fly. I changed to another fly, a chartreuse one, and fished with that for 20 minutes without any single strikes. And I thought, oh, maybe this was not the right medicine after all. So I looked back over my box, and then I realized I had another. I had missed that I actually had one more black wriggletail. So I took the black wriggletail, attached that, and then I hooked 3 pikes and landed 3 pikes in the next 3 casts. And on the 4th and 5th cast, I had a fish that grabbed my fly but was not hooked. So for 35 minutes with a big golden wriggletail and with a chartreuse fly, nothing whatsoever. And then 5 casts in a row, I had pikes on the black wriggletail. So I don't. It's probably not enough to make like science statistics, but at least it made me very, very convinced that I was onto something there. So I continued to fish with the black wriggletail, and it just continued to produce. And while I was out there in Steno with my pontoon boat, laying there fishing, I noticed there was another boat coming, also fishing, and on this boat there were 3 guys with spinning rods, and they were casting with the lures and rapalas and stuff like that, and they were around the area where I was fishing for about an hour or something like that. In that time when they were around, I counted. I saw they caught a fish each, but in that time with my wriggletail I caught 11. So 11 me alone. So I more than tripled their catch, and they were 3 in a boat with spinning lures, fishing an enormous area, the same area as I was, but simply what this tells me is maybe it's not that the wriggletails is the best invention in the universe. Or maybe it is, but what this tells me is that often the fly can be way more effective than spinning lures, and also that a fly can be deadly. It simply can be deadly if it's composed right and it looks like the stuff the fish are feeding on, and this is what this fly does. This fly is made to imitate a blackmouth goby. This is a pretty large new species. In the brackish water, but it enters the brackish waters there, and there's a lot of those, and the pike feeds on those. So what we need now is some of the thin flashabou in copper, simply because that is the color. They're brown and gray and blackish, these baitfish. So let's simply take a small bundle of this copper here. I'm gonna do it the other way around. I'm gonna take the copper now. That is how I did it. So that's how I'm gonna do it. So taking the copper here, like that. So out there in Stege in my pontoon boat, I had a very good afternoon. I caught maybe around something 30 or between 30 and 40 pikes, with an average around 75 centimeters, something like that, which is just fairly good. And the pikes in Stege are very feisty and very keen on fighting and stuff like that. And the markings on these fish is just absolutely amazing. The colors are just divine almost. They are completely, these brackish water pike are just very beautiful creatures. And I enjoyed catching every single one of them, and of course all of them were released unharmed. But then the following day I met up with a friend of mine. He's called Nikolai Martin, and he's actually a pike guide in Stege. So if you want to get some cool fishing done, you should look him up. He has his homepage is called pikeguide.com. So it's quite easy to find him, and he knows his stuff because he said, "Okay, Daniel, I'm gonna show you a secret spot somewhere." Outside of the Stege Nord, but still in the brackish water, and you have to promise me not to tell anyone where this is. So I'm not going to tell you where it is, but I'm just going to tell you what happened. We went there in the early morning, And now we need now we need a bit of this flesh here. This is brown, as you can see. It's a bit darker flesh material, and also it's longer. I'm gonna take this and then I'm gonna cut up the ends so it's not completely uniform in either end, like so. We're gonna make this as long as the other stuff, like that. Making sure everything is where it needs to be before I clamp down on this, like so. Oh, looking good. So he told me that we should go to his one of his secret spots. Not sacred, that's a completely different meaning. So we went there, and the fishing there was just awesome. We landed some pikes, and what was the major difference between this and the first spot I fished was the average size. There was not as many pikes, but the size were just very, very good. I caught some very, very nice pike, and the pike in the start of this movie is from there. I got the two biggest pike I got in this entire weekend. I got on this spot with Nikolai this morning, and me and Nikolai was fishing with kind of the same fly, a brownish flash fly like this. But I had the rattle in mind and the tail on mine. And this morning, even though Nikolai is a very experienced, very, very cool guide, I landed 7 and he landed 2. So and because he had forgotten his wriggle tails, and I was not going to give him any of mine. No, I don't know if I can recall if he'd forgotten his wriggle tails but for some reason I caught more than him. It could also be that he's just a very good guy and he just let me fish all the cool spots, but this fishing of wading around in knee-deep water, casting to weed bushes, fishing for a meter-long pike, it's just divine. It's just absolutely awesome. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take some saddle feathers here, some brown saddle feathers with grizzly saddle feathers with brown markings. These looks very cool in the water. Also, if you don't want to do that, or if you don't like the saddle feathers, try using some of this new Flashaboo Magnum Grizzly. That could easily be something that could replace these saddle feathers here. But I like the saddle feathers, so I'm gonna tie them down right there. A lot of pressure, like so, and there you have them. These saddle feathers really looks awesome in the flies, like that. I'm not gonna cut off the flesh, if you notice that, because I'm gonna use that in a second. So it's very important not to cut off the flesh that's pointing forward, like that. And then, of course, because I really want these saddle feathers to stay there, I'm just gonna apply a bit of super glue, a bit of crazy glue here, like that. And then I'm gonna take another bundle of gray bucktail. So if you can find a nice bundle here, something like this. And this again I'm gonna tie down so it's pointing forward. Distribute again as evenly as I can around here. Let's see if it's fairly good distributed. A couple of loose turns before I really clamp down on this. And I'm using the Future Fly thread, a very good thread, because it's very thin but it's still tremendously strong. Like that. And then actually the fly is as good as done. I'm gonna make a whip finish here, and then I'm gonna add a cone head, and then the fly is done. On the first ones I tried, I attached a pro head, a pro eye that was on a pro eye, a new pro eye that you could tie down, but these simply are not ideal for this, because they get bitten off so fast that it's actually a bit of waste of money to attach them. So I'm not going to do that. And then you can either attach a black or a golden cone head for this. This has a bit more weight, but also it gives a very neat, very easy end to this fly, like that. I'm gonna use the black one for this. So simply I take my cone head here, and I force all the materials backwards while applying pressure. Just gonna hold everything down here and just apply a bit of super glue to make sure it stays there. Just a bit of crazy glue up here, like that. Again, this will help make the fly stronger, and strong flies are ideal for pike, you know. There should be a lore about that, like so. And well, a fairly easy fly. And if you want, of course, you can. If you want this to be a bit more flashy looking, you could attach a fish skull or something like that instead. But I really like these cone heads as the finishing touch. And this fly was really doing some major damage. Really caught a lot of pikes. And to be completely sure that this is this stays where I want it to be, you can simply take some UV curing glue here. See if I can get it out here, and simply just a thin layer out here in front will make your head be completely secure and never move an inch off here. This fly was really doing well in the On one of these flies, I landed 21 or 22 pikes. So, but then it also looked completely shattered afterwards. So a nice, fast, easy, very not very expensive fly, but really, if you have not tried the wriggle tails, please do, because you will be amazed at how cool and how good they are, both in the water, but also when it comes to fishing. They will do the trick. Nice, fast, and very well working fly. Well, thank you for tuning in, and well, stay tuned, and of course subscribe, and swing by my web shop if you haven't done that yet. So thank you very much. Those were the words.